First off, thank you for joining us. We feel really honored to have you joining us today. I think everybody knows because it was in the invitation, but Ellen actually just last week was on the Beatrice. And so in just a second, I'm going to turn it over to her, and she's going to talk to us about her experience on the cruise and what you can expect. I did see we have some people who are on today who are not yet booked on the European Markets Cruise. In just a second, I will share a link in the chat function. We do have a website that's set up specifically for this cruise, which has all the information on the day-to-day itinerary. It shows which cabins have been booked and which are still available. And a lot of information like that. And myself and Ashley Zaldivar with Uniworld did a webinar a few months back where Ashley actually went through day by day of the itinerary and talked about what there was to what the highlights of that city were. And one of the things that Uniworld offers is an all-inclusive experience. So she actually, and part of that all-inclusiveness is the shore excursions that are included. So Ashley went through each day and talked about the shore excursions that are included that day. As it says in that webinar on the shore excursions, if there's one in the morning and one in the afternoon, you're more than welcome to go on both of them, or just one of them, or none of them if you had something else you wanted to do in that city. So all of that. Phones are ringing crazy today. Sorry, I thought I had them muted. Anyway. So that's available. I'll share that link in a few minutes when Ellen is chatting about her experience. I do know that there's been a lot of discussion about COVID. I can tell everyone what the current COVID protocols are, and Ellen can probably expand upon this, but Uniworld does not require a negative test to sail, nor does Germany. I think most everyone that I've talked to or Mike's talked to is flying from the States into Journey, so you won't be required to test prior to departure. Other than that, Ellen's going to talk to us for a few minutes, and then we are both here to answer any questions you might have. So Ellen, if you wouldn't mind, I'd love to hear about the Beatrice, about the testing to come back, and whatever other tips and tidbits you'd like to share.
Awesome, John. First of all, thank you so much for having me. I am very fresh off of the Beatrice, so a little bit jet lag still, so I apologize for the delay this morning. You know, I just came back, and the Beatrice is an incredible ship. So in 2018, we actually completely transformed this ship. We actually added in more suites. We added in more restaurants. So you've actually got 3 different dining venues on board in addition to room service. And the ship is absolutely stunning. She is all blue and white and very light colored woods. And the ship itself is stunning, but what really sets Uniworld apart and makes it so incredible is the crew. You know, I just left them all, and they definitely have a very special place in my heart. But they are so excited to be back at work and to be doing what they love, which is their amazing, authentic service, and you know, showing customers the very best. And really, they don't know how to say no. It's like, how can they actually delight and surprise you? At Uniworld, we call it the tiny noticeable touches. So they are definitely willing and ready to do all of that. As you know, it's been a very interesting year, and I've gone over to Germany actually earlier this year. And when I was there, just a couple things to keep in mind. You will have to have your card, so your card showing that you're vaccinated. You will also have to fill out a passenger locator form, a PLF they call it, and you could do that at the airport just before you leave, but easy to do the day before, and then you'll have to have that form filled out. What it is that the government just wants to know where you're going to be in Germany, right? So you're just going to let them know that you're joining a ship and how long you're going to be there for. No, not a big deal. You know, and then when you're ready to come home, we actually will handle all the testing right there on board for you. So we actually set up a room back in Max's, our little steakhouse that we have on board. We actually set up a place back there, and we bring on the doctors, and we actually do all the testing for you. And then everyone will get their individual email sent to them with their test results. Very happy to say that we've had a very good season without any mishaps of any positive results. So that's been really good. I will say it feels like once you start traveling again, you really feel like things are normal. You know, when you're on board the ship, you know, the one thing we are asking is that people wear masks as they're walking around. Once you're seated in a lounge, once you're in the dining rooms or somewhere, and of course in your staterooms, there's no reason to wear a mask. But when we are walking around, we are asking. All of our crew, though, will wear masks the entire time. And that's just, you know, we want to continue to, you know, make sure everyone is protected. And all of our crew is vaccinated. And once again, they're just really excited about the Christmas markets. It is a absolutely enchanting time of year. You'll definitely see some gingerbread houses on board. Our chefs have contests as who has the best gingerbread house. You know, a lot of holiday music, definitely getting everybody in the spirit, but also just visiting, going into the markets and having your glue wine and enjoying the afternoon. There's absolutely no better way. And I'm talking December, early December, when this cruise is happening, it's perfect timing. So I wish I was going with you, John.
We have cabins available.
Yeah, well, actually on our Christmas markets, just so you know how many people are traveling. So far this year, we've actually traveled over 12,000 passengers on Uniworld. So we've had a really, you know, a lighter season than normal. We started late, et cetera, but you know, we've already moved 12,000 people. For our Christmas markets, we have 1,700 people booked right now. Let's hopefully we'll add about, you know, 1,730 maybe. How about that, John? So we're very excited about the markets and what we'll be doing there. And it's definitely a highlight. And if you haven't done it before, it's a great way. And this is the perfect way to get you started to travel again. And I promise you, you're going to go on that first trip and you're going to realize, you know what, we are going to live with this. So we're going to live and we're going to get out there and have some fun.
Excellent. I can say I've been on a couple of cruises already. We had a MOAA signature group, which went in July on the Mississippi River, and exactly what you were talking about. You know, people would be out doing their excursions for the day. They'd come back on the ship. Most people congregated, you know, kind of around the bar, you know, cocktail area. People would go to dinner. They'd do a show. They'd be back to the lounge area. After the show, you know, they had a 4-piece band playing, and before you even realized it, it had been hours, you know, 6-7 hours since you even thought about COVID, with everybody on board, and the crew seemed so happy and welcoming to have people back. The second cruise I went on was a Royal Caribbean cruise, and I've shared this before. It was far and away the favorite Royal Caribbean cruise I've ever been on, because the same thing that we had on the on the Mississippi River Cruise is as everyone was so happy that we were out there again. And I think everybody on board was happy to get out there as well. So I think that's kind of the nuts and bolts. Anything else that you had to share from experience on the Beatrice?
Well, I just want to remind people, if you haven't been on a river cruise before, you know, the Beatrice, the super ship Beatrice, so she's 152 passengers maximum, right? So you always have space. You're always close to land. You know, every day you're getting on and off the ship, you know, at such ease. You're not waiting in line for anything. And as John said earlier, it is all inclusive. So all of your drinks, your gratuities, your meals, your excursions, your transfers, you know, everything is included. So you really can get on and experience, you know, really starting your life of traveling again, and then, you know, not have to walk off that ship with a zero balance, which I should tell you, that is a nice feeling, unless of course you decide to go to the spa or buy a few things at the gift shop, but you're certainly able to go on this. It's a, you know, an amazing way to travel, because you're unpacking once and you get to see the world. Every day we're taking you into somewhere else that's incredible, and, you know, what better time than the holidays.
So what type of items are available in the gift shop? I'll preemptively ask a question, because the only real complaint we had about the Mississippi River Cruise was people were unhappy with the selection of items, excuse me, that were available in the gift shop. Everybody in our group is going to get $150 per person or $300 per stateroom onboard credit. And people are going to want to know what they could spend that on. The drinks included, the shore excursions included, and transfers and tips. And I know I'm probably forgetting something as I ramble it off real quick. it was surprising to me the number of people that were looking for something in the gift shop. So
Yeah. So, there's a few things they can spend money on. Number one, we have a beautiful little spa on board. We're one of the only river cruise companies that actually has a wellness coach on board, and you can go to the spa, you can get facials, you can get your massages. So that's one thing they can spend their money on. We also have, you can upgrade your wines if you wanted to. We have a beautiful wine list that they can choose from. We also do have our gift shop. So with our gift shop, we've got watches, we've got jewelry, we've got, scarves, we've got, we will also bring in some holiday items. So we actually will sell some of the beautiful holiday items on board as well. So some of the nutcrackers and different things from the region. So there is quite a large selection of things on board. And I would say it definitely is a very, everyone always gravitates right towards the gift shop and makes a few purchases, that's for sure. And of course, we have a Uniworld jackets and Uniworld shirts, very nice polo shirts. So if you want to take home the brand with you, you have that as well.
I shared some photos of the gift shop on the Sal Gabriel that you sent me after you went on that ship. We actually, as Ellen, I'm sure you know, and hopefully a lot of the people on the call today know, we actually have another signature group next year on the Douro River. And you sailed on that earlier this year and were kind enough to share a bunch of your pictures on that ship as well. So we have a lot of opportunities. For those of you who are not familiar with Uniworld, we book more Uniworld River Cruises than any other river cruise line out there. It is a favorite of MOAA members. We have a great partnership with Uniworld, which is reflected in things such as the onboard credit that they offer to us on any booking that you make with Uniworld. On the signature groups, it's $300 or $150 per person. On the non-signature groups, it's $100 per person, $200 total. So you can select any Uniworld cruise you like. They have a fantastic product. I will be on board. I know Ellen mentioned she wouldn't, so I can't tell you how excited I am to get back to Europe. It's been a long time since I've been with everything shut down, and I think it's just these MOAA groups are so much fun. For those of you who have not been on one of our signature groups before, we're going to have 56 people on board. So wherever you go on the excursions around the ship, you're going to meet people. As I like to say, they're friends you just haven't met yet because you're fellow members of MOAA. We're here to answer any questions everybody has. I know we went through the COVID information. I know some people had some questions on that. Let's see if there's anything in chat. Since Uniworld is the most all-inclusive river cruise ship, is there a charge for COVID test? You just mentioned on the ship, final day before departure on the ship.
Yes, so we do, the guests will pay their COVID test. Oh, and by the way, it goes to your shipboard account, so you could also use that, your shipboard credit to offset that cost as well.
Yeah, so for the people that actually test on board, because I do know we have some people that are doing pre's and posts, and the test before you come home is a U.S. requirement. Yes. So to come back into the United States requires a test within 72 hours of your departure back into the States. So, for example, if you're going to stay 3 days at the end of the cruise in Vienna or somewhere else in Europe before you come back to the States, the onboard testing won't do you any good because it has to be that 3 days prior to heading back to the United States. And one thing I like to say about all this COVID testing, and I know I've mentioned it in a number of our webinars, is the fact that this is what it currently is. Currently, the United States requires a test 72 hours before you return to the United States. That'll probably still be in effect in December, but will it be in effect, June of next year? We don't know. Currently, Germany doesn't require a test to go to when you arrive in Germany. That could change. Those things are obviously outside of our control. I know you're reading the questions as well. Somebody asked if you could describe the dining rooms. And Ellen, I think you said you took a bunch of pictures, and those you're going to share with me. One of the things we'll do at the end of this webinar is we'll send an email to everyone afterwards. We'll have a bunch of pictures that Ellen and other folks took on board that we'll share with everyone. So you will get an email either this evening or tomorrow morning. But I guess the next question was, can you describe the 3 dining venues?
Absolutely. So what we did is, at the front of the ship, we've added, there's the Wolfgang's, which is the lounge and the bar. In front of Wolfgang's is a little restaurant we call Schubert's. And in Schubert's, you're always going to have cookies and treats and things, to pick at. So there'll always be some food available. But then at nighttime, we have a set menu, which is a very traditional German food, so that you could, to try it. It's fun to have, kind of a different venue to eat at. And it was a hot spot to be when we were going through the locks. People enjoyed being up there versus down in the main dining room. Our main dining room, that's called Mozart's, and it's absolutely stunning. And once again, you can get anything you want on the menu. I mean, on or off the menu. So if you want to, I had a gentleman ask me the question, he said to me, I just want to have steak and French fries every day. And I said, guess what? On Uniworld, you can have steak and French fries every day. So that's not a problem. But you know what? Really, honestly, the food is spectacular because our philosophy is to actually source our food locally, to bring on fresh food. So every day you're going to see, when we're in ports, you'll see the crew bringing on fresh items, because that's what really makes it special, is to have the food taste authentic and from the destination. So all the menus are designed around the destination. And then on the back of the ship, we have added in something called Max's. And in Max's, it is an experience that you can either cook with the chef or you can have him just cook for you. And we actually have a dry ager there, and we've got 3 different cuts of steak. And he does kind of a set menu of a kind of a steak dinner that is absolutely fabulous. So he did 3 different kinds of steaks with 3 different sauces. They did roasted vegetables. We had an amazing appetizer. They did a really traditional cheeses and meats and stuff that were local to start with. And then we moved on to an incredible soup. And then we had our main meal. And then, of course, we had cheese. And then, of course, we had dessert. So you will not go away hungry. That is for sure. So having the different dining venues on board, though, it just gives people a chance to kind of mingle around. And especially when you meet your new friends on board, it's nice to maybe go grab together and go sit and have a meal.
Excellent. Yeah, and along those same lines, it's funny that you mentioned French fries. I took my daughter on one of your Generations departures, which is focused on families. So when we went on that one in particular, almost all the other rooms were families as well. So there was a lot of families on board. And having sailed with Uniworld before, we went to lunch the first day or dinner the first day. And my daughter wanted French fries, which were not on the menu. And she got French fries every single dinner that we were there. But I swear by the 3rd day, they were bringing French fries to every table in there, because all the other kids would look at the menu, and kind of say, I don't want au gratin potatoes. I saw, that table over there, they got French fries. Yeah. And they're extremely accommodating, on what they do. And it's little things like, the wine at dinner, you'll say that you preferred the white from the night before, they'll bring that to you, or you'll ask for, creme brulee because that's your favorite dessert, and they're as accommodating as they can. The next question is about mask requirements in Germany and Austria. Ellen, I didn't know if you wanted to answer that or.
Yeah, so
okay.
Both Germany and Austria, when you're out and about and you're on your shore excursions, you do need to wear a mask. So they are requiring a mask as you are walking around. But honestly, it's kind of become our normal, right? You're going to be wearing a mask at home, or you're going to be wearing a mask when you're out enjoying an incredible new environment. So I think it's just become kind of something normal that we're getting used to. And so, yes, there is still a requirement. Once again, those requirements can change at any time, but as of right now, there is not.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I just want to stick back with the food real quick here, John. One of my favorite topics is the thing that's so important is that we actually will identify whatever your dietary needs are. So nowadays, whether you're lactose intolerant, whether you're vegan, whether you're vegetarian, whether you're lactose free, whatever a lot of people have different challenges, and the crew is so amazing. They actually identify that right away. They know who you are, and every time you sit down, they're going to tell you, here's what you can have, here's what you can't have. I mean, or they're going to make something special for you that's gluten-free. I was traveling with a guest who was gluten-free, and every time, all of her desserts, she got her different desserts gluten-free, and she just couldn't believe how amazing they were. So once again, it's all about accommodating the guests and making them feel at home.
Fantastic. And one other thing I was just going to say is, as far as the mask, it's the same thing that I think most of are used to, which is when you go into a restaurant or a bar, that they ask you to wear it, but when you're seated at a table eating or drinking, it's not required. I see that we had a question about if you arrive a few days early, where do we meet the ship on December 8th? We can actually email you the address of the ship. Is probably the easiest way to do it. Yep. Without me butchering my German as I try to pronounce it. But Tamara, I will make sure Mike sends that to you. Along those lines, when I first saw that question, I thought you were talking about where we meet when we get on the ship. I will be in Nuremberg on the ship, so I will greet everybody when you board the ship. So I'll be in the lobby to tell everybody welcome aboard. And we will have an itinerary because we'll have like our welcome reception and our farewell reception and those types of things. So when you get to your stateroom, you'll actually have a flyer in your stateroom, which will kind of go through day to day of everything that's included. So, okay, on previous webinar, there was a mention of carriage ride through the Black Forest, but I don't see it on the itinerary. There are a few excursions that are upcharges. Is that handled on board? Okay, so I will defer the Black Forest carriage ride to Ellen. I do recall Ashley talking about that. As far as the shore excursions, this cruise, like a lot of them, is a cashless society. So if you were to go to if you were to book a premium shore excursion, or if you were to do a bottle of wine, or if you were to get something at the gift shop or whatever, that's actually put on your onboard account, which you settle at the end of the cruise. So you basically start out, if there's 2 of you in your room, you start out with a 300 positive balance, and then that balance will change as you purchase gift shop or you sign up for the COVID testing or anything along those lines. Ellen, do you know about the Black Forest carriage ride that Ashley talked about in the last webinar?
I'm just looking right now for the inclusions to see if I can't recall if it's an included one or if it is actually a one that is a, I'm pretty sure it's included though. So just give me 1 second, John,
sure,
and I'll tell you. And
okay, we have another person who asked for the address of the ship. So what I'll do is when I send all the follow-up information after this webinar, I will make sure that we include the pier address for everyone. As a reminder, for those of you who are flying in the day that the ship leaves,
Yep.
we should have everyone's flight schedule. We share that with Uniworld, and they will actually have somebody meet you at the airport, and transportation from the airport to the ship is included. Entertainment in the evening will come. Do you want to talk about that, Ellen? Or you
yeah, absolutely. Let me cover off the excursions while I've got it here, there, John, just to help everyone. I'll just quickly go through a few of the highlights here. So, you know, you're going to arrive in Nuremberg, as in John will greet you there and welcome you on board. And then the first day, the first excursion on day 2 is either you can do the Nuremberg city tour with the Christmas markets, or we have a masterpiece collection, which you can purchase on board, which is a Nuremberg World War II historical tour. We then have, on day 3, we have the Regensburg walk walk and the castle, go to the castle, and then also go to the Christmas market in Regensburg, which cannot be missed. And then on day 4, your Bavarian forest adventure, yes, that does happen. That's in Deggendorf, which is in Passau. So yes, you will go through the Bavarian forest there. I think Ashley did that before, which is probably why she talked about it so much. And then of course there's the Passau Christmas markets. So everywhere you go, you're going to have these different Christmas markets, or you can actually do different experiences. So on day 5, we are going to be in Linz, and you have the Christmas markets, or you can do the town stroll and a visit to a cider farm. And on day 6, we have Dürnstein, which is just absolutely a gorgeous little village. So you can do the Dürnstein village stroll and have the spiced wine tasting. And then there's a beautiful concert that they have at the monastery. In that evening, we also have a private Mozart and Strauss concert, which actually I've been to before, and it's in Vienna, amazing. So you have that evening. That is a masterpiece collection. And then we have the, you'll end up in Vienna, which if you haven't been, it's just gorgeous. And I've been there twice this year, and it's an incredible city. So you'll have the Christmas markets and walking tours. There's amazing museums there as well. But what we include is the Taste of Christmas Vienna, or the city tour with the Christmas markets. But you can also go to the Schönberg Palace and the Christmas markets. So that also would be a masterpiece collection. So I quickly went through that, but if you go on to uniworld.com, you can see the day-by-day itinerary for the European Holidays Market.
Excellent. And it's also on the website. I shared that link, but if you go to the website for the cruise, there is a day-by-day itinerary that includes the shore excursions as well. Ellen, can you talk about dress code real quick at dinner, breakfast, and what time the meals are? Back to food, your favorite.
There you go. Absolutely. So we have, normally it all depends upon what's happening that day, but generally breakfast starts around 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock in the morning, and that will go till 9:30, depending upon when these shore excursions are. Generally people will go off in the morning, then they come back in the afternoon. We have a beautiful lunch for everyone, generally starting around 12:30, 12 o'clock or 1, depending upon what's happening in that city. And then you'll have dinner, and every night we'll have your cruise manager will give you a little cruise talk, usually starting around 6:30, and then at 7 o'clock we'll have dinner. So you can eat whenever you want, though. You may say, you know what, I want to wait till 8 o'clock, or I want to, whatever you want. You can do it at different times. You can book yourself up, like I said, in our 2 restaurants. You say, you know what, I don't want to go to dinner till 8, or I want to go at 7:30. You can do, honestly, it's your vacation, so you can do whatever you want on the timing of your meals.
And then dress code?
Dress code. I think that's one of the best parts of Uniworld. I think that for the ladies, I would say, you know what, in the evening, you're going to wear, you might wear a pair of slacks and a nice blouse, maybe a dress, but nothing real fancy. And then during the day, you're going to be, in your casual clothes because you're going to be out on excursions, and definitely you want to bundle up because it's starting to get chilly there. But, it's definitely a very relaxed, casual atmosphere. We do have 2 nights. We have the captain's welcome night as well as the final night, where we do a little bit of a dressier feel. So maybe a little more of a holiday feel this year, but just a little dressier, but not, it certainly isn't dressy. Don't you agree, John?
I would, yeah. If it wasn't this time of year, I probably wouldn't. It's cool. So you want a sports coat for gentlemen at dinner, but I pretty much just wear slacks and a collared shirt, sort of like the shirt I'm wearing now. For the dressier night, I might wear, a button down with a jacket. But
but certainly no tie.
The thing that I always echo that you said is it's your vacation. I still think it's funny when we did the Columbia River Cruise, and keep in mind this was Mississippi River in July, so it was warm, but I had a half dozen people mention that they saw, something on open-toed shoes in the dining room, which was, I thought, was important to everyone that they could, be comfortable in the weather. And obviously during the day, as far as dress code, you're going to have breakfast, then you're going to go out. So most people will wear exactly what they're going to wear when they go out. So if there's a lot of walking, you want to wear comfortable walking shoes, and then light layers or whatever, depending on the weather. Same thing in the afternoon. And then dinner, just smart casual, I guess, for a better term. So that's dress code. Somebody asked about entertainment.
Yes. So you know what, we definitely have nighttime entertainment, and we bring it on probably 4 nights during your 7-night cruise. We'll have some different type of local entertainment that comes on board. We've kind of moved away, we have a beautiful piano and things there as well, and we'll have singers, we'll have some local dances. You'll definitely get the treat of having the crew sing Christmas carols with you one evening. And so it's it's very local artists that we bring on board to try to once again bring the destination to life on board the ship.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I remember the first time I sailed with them. I thought the onboard entertainment was excellent. So it's a lot of fun. The other thing is without looking at the itinerary, on some nights the distance between the ports is not great, so we could actually be sailing you know, kind of during the port talking at dinner. I remember we were in France once, and after dinner, my daughter wanted crepes, so we got off the ship. So in some of the evenings, you'll be able to get off the ship after dinner if you wanted to as well. In particular, you know, in Vienna and Nuremberg, where we're overnighting in those cities, you have the ability after dinner to get off the ship if there's something, if you want to see Nuremberg at night, for example. I'll answer this one. There's one about the fact that some of the people who are on the discussion right now are actually not on the Beatrice, they're on the Maria Theresa. There was a question about that being a signature event. Actually, what transpired is this was originally a signature group that was set up for last year. That sailing was suspended due to COVID. And so when we moved the 2020 signature group on the Maria Theresa, when we tried to move that to December of this year, we weren't able to get enough space on that ship to do a signature group for 2021. So most of the people moved to the Beatrice for the European holiday markets, but there is a small group of people. I think Michael Doran is the leader of that group, but correct me if I'm wrong. That I think there's like 7 or 8 cabins that are on that sailing. So you probably booked initially, if you're on the Maria Theresa, you probably initially booked on a signature group, but that changed when that sailing was suspended. But we invited you to this webinar as well because a lot of what Ellen is talking about, you know, particularly you're going to the same part of Europe, is similar. It's the same ship, the same basic design, and those types of things. But if you have specific questions on that, feel free to give Mike a call. I know Mike's handling that and has all of that information for you. As far as ability to wash clothes, I assume they're asking about self-service laundry.
Yes.
I do know that there is laundry services on board. You know, the typical put it in a bag and they bring it back a day or two later. But Ellen, if you wanted to talk about the laundry services as well.
Yeah, you know, a lot of people like to do their own laundry still, even while they're on vacation. So we have self-service laundry available, which is nice because you don't have to pack as much. So I think it does make it very nice. And we have self-service laundry machines that are free of service. You just go to the front desk, they'll give you a little pod, and you just go down and throw your laundry in. So it definitely is a very nice feature. You can also go home with a bag full of clean clothes instead of a bag full of dirty clothes. So our customers do appreciate that. We have that across our entire fleet. And John, one of the questions that one of the comments, I guess I should say, I got the most on my last cruise on the Beatrice was about our beds, which sounds kind of crazy, but people just love our beds. So they're Savoie beds of England. They are so incredibly comfortable. And we have our own custom made sheets and everything for them, and they are wildly comfortable. You will be, I think after a long day of going on your tours and going to the Christmas markets and having your glue wine, you are going to love falling asleep in that bed. And of course, also, we've got lots of movies and stuff on board. So there's always movies, and all of those things are also included.
Okay. Did you see the question on the Libziner Spanish writing school?
I'm looking forward.
Okay, we had a question of why is the Libziner Spanish writing school not included as an excursion in Vienna?
Right. So it's a very exclusive experience. And so we have had it in the past, but at the moment we don't. They only make tickets available at certain times. I think due to COVID, they may have stopped. They also only operate certain days. I know I believe it's Mondays and Thursdays that they're completely closed down. And then it's the training of the horses. So I know they have some exclusive events and things in the evening, but it's not something that we can consistently offer.
And I know we talked briefly about entertainment. Is there dancing at night? There's pretty much in the lounge, there's dancing every evening, isn't there?
Absolutely.
Not live entertainment, but always, I guess, a DJ for lack of a better word.
We always have music. There's always dancing, and definitely, depending upon the crowd, we had a group that was dancing till 1 in the morning. So yes, we definitely have dancing on board.
Luggage restrictions.
So I carry a very large suitcase, so I'll just put it that way. There really aren't any major restrictions. Our beds are high off the ground on purpose, so your suitcase can fit up beautifully right underneath your bed. So the whole space under there, so that you can have somewhere to put your suitcase. So, you know, I think for the length of this cruise, there really is no restrictions.
Yeah, and the other thing, just as a reminder, when you're picked up at the airport, if you're using the transfers, or when you check into the ship, they will actually take your luggage if your room's not available, because if you do an overnight flight and you get there at 10 a.m., they're still cleaning those rooms from the guests that departed that morning, so they will actually have your luggage for you. Then you're free to go to the lounge and have a cocktail. If you're there at lunchtime, you're welcome to join for lunch. Or you can get off the ship and explore. Depending on the weather, they have bikes if you wanted to go biking or whatever. And then the luggage is in your room. And then the same thing when you get off the ship, that you need to check out of your room at breakfast time, but you don't necessarily have to leave the ship. So they will watch your luggage for you there as well. We did have a question about shore excursions, of when you need to select them. The excursions that are the complimentary excursions, you can decide what you want to do on the ship. So the day before, you can basically say, I want to do, you know, this excursion or that excursion. I will certainly be on board, as well as the Uniworld staff, to make sure that if there's a change that you want to make, that we can get that made. Reiterate what both Ellen and I said: at your vacation, we're there to make sure that you can do whatever you want. The only thing might be is some of the Masterpiece Collection excursions. I assume some of those, Ellen, have a maximum capacity.
They do. I think, though, with the number of people on your ship right now, I think you should be in pretty good shape.
Okay.
I will say, for excursions, to make it easy, we don't like the mad dash to the front desk and make everybody worry about what they're going to do. On the first day, we'll give you a piece of paper, and you can just, and then they'll kind of highlight and describe each one of them very briefly the first day, and you can just kind of circle which ones you want, put your name and your room number, and that's just kind of a holder. But then, as John said, if you decide you want to change or go with some other friends or go do something different, you can. We're incredibly flexible. I think that's the one thing you'll learn about Uniworld, is that we are not black and white. We're very gray.
And then the other thing I wanted to add, and as Ellen mentioned, each night before dinner, in the lounge area, someone will actually talk about the next day. So I guess if you're used to the big cruise, almost like a shore excursion talk. So if you think that you're going to do excursion A, and then you hear the talk and you want to change it, they're more than welcome. They're more than willing to change it. If you're not sure, that's your opportunity to ask questions and figure out exactly which excursion it is you want to do. It's your vacation. So when do we need to see?
I'm just scrolling through.
We get wine and liquor in the room. What is the minibar? Ellen, I'll let you talk about this more. If for example, one of the things we talk about is if you purchase a bottle of wine while you're in a particular city, you can bring it on board and have it or share it at dinner that evening. There is a bar set up in all the suites, correct, Helen?
In all the suites, yes. So in all of our suites, we have a bar set up. There's a bottle of wine. You know, there's whiskey, there's vodka. If you have something particular you want, your butler will be happy to get it for you. In your mini bar, you've got your sodas and your different mixers and things to go with it, and your sparkling waters, etc. We have an incredible filtered water system on board the ship, so we do have carafes of water that are always in everyone's rooms, and they're, you know, obviously refilled every single day. You know, the team is very cautious of that, and they find out what you like. So, you know, I was drinking a lot of Coke Zero every day, and the next thing I know, it was always, you know, they had a couple extra bottles because they saw that I was finishing those off. So there's definitely a very nice choice in the minibar.
Yeah, and one of the things, and I'll address the suites, since that's where the kind of bar setup is. One of the first things you'll do when you go to your suite is you'll meet your butler, and they are very flexible on that. I remember I don't drink soda, The wife drinks Diet Coke, so when you first go in there, they kind of have a variety of items. So, you know, a couple of Cokes, a couple of Sprites, a couple of Diet Cokes, and those types of things. But once your butler knows that, you know, you're not going to use the Diet Cokes or the Sprites, or more importantly, when you talk about having whiskey and vodka or whatever, it is once your room steward, or your butler rather, knows what it is you like, then they'll make sure they get you what that is that you'd like. Please explain.
Now, after all this eating, someone wants to know about how we work out.
Yeah, there you go. Do you want to talk real quick about the workout room?
Yes, we have a fantastic, all of our ships have a small gym on board. So it has a couple of treadmills. It's got your weights and things, so you can go in there. We are asking people to sign up for when they want to go. A lot of the times there's no one there early in the morning and stuff, etc. But if you do have a specific time you want to go, it's good to sign up for it. So it's a small space, but you know what? It's absolutely has everything that you need. But as I mentioned earlier, we have these wellness coaches on board, and every morning they offer some type of different exercise class. So they'll do yoga, do stretches, they'll do, you know, all different things in the morning with you, which is very nice. It's a wonderful way to start the morning. And because it's chilly out, we'll be doing that we do that in the lounge. So you have to set up a space in the lounge, bring all the yoga mats and everything in there, and set everything up. You can also work with our trainers on a private basis. So you can actually set up times specifically with the trainer to work out with them. If it was the summer and the springtime, we would have bicycling tours and we'd have more walking tours, but you will definitely get your walks in with the Christmas markets. So I think you'll enjoy that as well.
Exactly. Yeah, I think I've been on Uniworld 4 times now. That serves correct. And I've never had an instance where there was a wait for the gym, but it makes sense that they have a sign-up sheet because, you know, you are kind of on a time schedule. For example, if breakfast is at 8 and the shore excursion leaves at 9, and so you want to work out with 7, it behooves you to go ahead and sign up for that, so you don't show up. And let's say that you want to use the treadmill, and if you go there, you know, it's not like they have 3 or 4 of them, you know, so you can sign up that way that it's available when you want to go in. Where are we? Look at this. The timing's almost perfect. It's 2:53. So we have a few minutes left if there's any other questions. Otherwise, it appears as though no. Ellen, I really appreciate you taking time. I'm sure you're swamped just getting back from Europe to take time and talk with us all. As I said, you've been a great partner to MOAA Vacations, you know, for years now. And I certainly have enjoyed working with you. You're a great partner. So thank you for everything you do for us. And I don't know if you had anything you'd like to end on.
I would just say I hope everyone has a beautiful time on board. There's one more question came in here real quick here on about are there any medical professionals on board? So no, we do not have any medical professionals on board. You know, the ship is always close to land, right? You can see the land at all times. If there's ever an emergency, they literally pull over, and you know, you would call, you know, and they get the help that someone needs. So we do not have medical professionals on any of our ships. The only medical professional will be the person who comes to do your COVID test. So so no, we do not. But that's one of the advantages of being on a river ship, is you are always close to land.
Yeah, and the ships, for those who haven't done it before, the ships dock actually city center. I think so many people who've done ocean cruises before, and a lot of times in our webinar, and I know I talked about this in the webinar actually, and I did, which is really going through and talking about the differences for those who've only done ocean cruises, who are used to, you know, the ship docks and you're miles away from anything, so you get off. If you don't tender where you have to take a boat, then you get off, and then you're taking a shuttle bus to wherever it begins. You literally are right city center. So you can get up in the morning, you know, and walk off the ship and walk across the street and go to a cafe and get coffee or whatever you might want to do. Don't know what the weather's going to be like, you know. Personally, I enjoyed riding the bikes so much more. You're right on the river, so there's almost always a bike path that goes along the river, so it's long, flat, instead of, you know, because in Kansas, there's really not a lot of opportunities to bike along a river, let alone the Danube in Europe or wherever you might be. So I certainly like to take advantage of, either going for a walk. They do have the Nordic walking sticks for those people who like those, or just take a bike in the morning. So as compared to riding a bike or using a treadmill, in a workout room, weather permitting, to me, it's just always much better to take advantage of that opportunity. It looked like another question came in. Will we moor beside another ship?
Chances are you will. There's not as many ships in there for the Christmas markets. I would say in my last 7-day cruise, we moored against another ship one time. So it's not, it doesn't happen everywhere, but there are certain ports that are more popular than others. Sometimes we moored next to somebody for just a period of time, or everyone's gonna dock and get off, and then they leave at one time and we leave at another. It's the great news is that we're all friends out there, and so it works out really well. And it's very easy to get on and off the ships and between the two different ones. So it's pretty easy.
It is. It's just walking. How wide are those ships? It's walking another.
I love it when you dock to someone else, because you get to see how incredible Uniworld is. You'll see.
I was trying to figure out a way to say that. What we've heard from people who've sailed with us before on these signature groups is they thought it was really nice, and then when they walked through another ship or another brand and were able to actually see the difference, how happy they were that they were on Uniworld. The ships are just beautiful, and as I said, we'll have some pictures that we'll share with everyone.
And it'll be all decorated for the holidays. They get very excited about that. Each one of our ships truly is a floating boutique hotel. That's how, the crew, who are our employees, who, all during COVID, we took care of them. So we kept our crew, we kept our staff, which is a big deal right now. As you know, many of you can't go to restaurants, can't go to certain places because they don't have any employees working. Well, we were really fortunate. We kept our entire crew. So we've got a very happy group of people who can't wait to welcome you on board.
Fantastic. Yeah, and so for those who are going on European holiday markets, I will see you in Nuremberg. We're very excited, as I said, to be going on this cruise. For those of you who have not yet booked, we'd love to talk to you. We do have, you said 28 people, I think. Ellen, is there 14 cabins?
I think so, yep.
Something like that. So we do have a little space remaining. We'd love to have you join us. Other than that, everyone has our 800 number. You can call either Mike or myself anytime. But we're going to have a wonderful time. I'm so excited to go. Once again, Ellen, thank you. Bye, everyone.
Take care.